everyone, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. My name's Johnny and I am a zookeeper. So as you can tell, I'm not at home. I'm actually at the zoo today and we are really close to Christmas. So I thought I would set up by a nice Christmas tree. But we're not going to be talking about Christmassy animals this week. We are actually going to be talking about arachnids. I know, super exciting. Arachnids are really awesome. They are animals that a lot of times people are not a big fan of, but I really like them a lot. And honestly, the more you learn about animals or something that you're afraid of or have a fear of, you may not lose that fear, especially if you have a phobia, but the more you understand them and the more you learn about them, the more you can appreciate them, which is why I want to talk to you guys today about 2 arachnids that I work with on a regular basis, and I think they're pretty darn cool. And I hope that you guys will learn something about them and at least appreciate them a little bit more if you don't already actually like these guys. So, arachnids are a group of animals. A lot of people call them bugs, but they're not bugs. They're technically their own kind of thing over here. They don't have 6 legs like we usually think of insects, but they have 8 legs. So that would include spiders, which is the largest group of arachnids, harvestmen, or what we know as daddy long legs, scorpions, mites, and things like that. So I'm gonna show you guys 2 animals that we don't have here in the United States, but they're really cool. They're nice and big, so they'll be easy to show you guys. And again, they're not something that we can find here. We have other species in the United States, but we don't have this species I'm gonna show you. So let me get her out. Her name is actually Hagrid. Hi, will you come be my friend? She's coming. Okay, so this is my friend Hagrid. If you see, she's a tarantula. She's not a kind of tarantula that we have here in the United States. I'm in Tennessee. We do not have these guys in Tennessee. She is a curly-haired tarantula, and you can actually find them down in areas like Honduras is where they're native. So she's a pretty big girl. As you can tell, you can kind of see all those nice hairs. That is why she is called a curly-haired tarantula. So a lot of other tarantulas that you might see do have nice long hairs like this, but they're not as long like her hairs are. And what a lot of people don't realize, it's actually to protect themselves. And they basically are very itchy. She will actually use some of these back legs and she'll pick them up and she'll fling hair off of her abdomen. So this area back here, and she'll kind of fling them into the eyes or the face of a predator. They really irritate an animal's face, their nose, their eyes. So if you think of animals, most animals, they have much better vision than we do, a lot more sensitive eyes, a lot more sensitive nose. So if you imagine all of those things escalating in our senses and then getting these things up your nose, that is not fun at all. So it's a great defense for her. So usually, a lot of people are terrified of spiders, especially probably something this big. She's a big girl. But what she would do if she felt really nervous is she would probably display first. She would kind of hold up these front 2, they're not legs, they're patipalps, so she does have her 8 legs, but then she has these other 2 things that look like legs. So she would raise those up, maybe her front 2 actual legs, and display her fangs. But she obviously is not doing this, which means she's not going to bite me, so everyone calm down. So she would display. She would also, if she really felt threatened, she would throw those hairs at my face or at other animal's face if she was really terrified, because those things are all pretty intimidating. If an animal like this shows you their fangs, you should probably back off, and most animals would do that. But then again, if they don't, that's when she's gonna fling those hairs into their eyes or their nose or wherever to defend herself. And the last thing she's gonna do is to bite. So like I said, she does have nice big fangs and she is venomous. So she has those venomous fangs, but if she were to bite me, it's not gonna be the end of the world. It obviously would be somewhat painful, but I'm not really gonna have to worry about it unless I end up being allergic to the venom. But they are not very dangerous at all, and I'm not worried about her. She hasn't even moved on my hand. She's just legitimately chilling and not doing anything right now. So she has those fangs and that venom to subdue her prey. So if she wants to go after another animal or another insect that she wants to eat, she will grab it and she will inject venom into it to stun it, and then it also liquefies whatever it is that she wants to eat so that she can eat it really well. She obviously is way too small to be eating people, so she's not gonna be trying to go after and bite a human. She will eat mostly ground-dwelling insects. She may go after things like small reptiles like lizards and things like that, but she probably really just likes to eat bugs. Again, her name is Hagrid, and we have another one named Aragog, so if you have any Harry Potter fans out there, it's pretty suiting name for this little girl. She's awesome. So you probably can't tell at all, but at the end of each leg, she actually has claws like a cat. She has retractable claws. So on each leg, she's got 2 retractable claws. So if you take a close look at your hand, you can see all of your fingerprints, all the lines all over your hands. So she just has each of her little claws kind of hooked out into those creases and wrinkles in my hand, so that way she feels nice and secure, like she's not going to fall. And then at the end of those little pedipalps that I was talking about, these other 2 front things are not technically legs. Elves are sense things. She actually only has 1 little claw on those since they're not technically her legs. So she's really pretty. So another difference between arachnids and insects is that she does have those 8 legs, and rather than having the head, abdomen, and thorax, she has her abdomen down here in this area, and then this is her head and the thorax technically together, so it's called a cephalothorax. So that is another difference between arachnids and other insects that have 6 legs and 3 body parts. So she's pretty cool. She also, can't really tell, this little area is around where her little eyes are, which is kind of cool. I guess you might be able to kind of see it a little bit. But yeah, she's a very beautiful spider. Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put little Miss Hagrid away. Say bye, Hagrid! Our next animal is another pretty cool one. I hope you guys like it. I mentioned this in my first video. These are animals that I have never worked with before. They're super cool. I hope you guys have all guessed what it is. It is a scorpion. So, I brought some dirt with me. This is actually Tyrion. A lot of people are like, oh, it's that pretty blue dot on him. It's just a marker that we use that's completely safe for him. We have 3 of these guys, Tyrion, Jaime, and Cersei, and so we put little marks on them so we know who is who. Tyrion is actually an emperor scorpion. He's still pretty small. At the biggest, these guys are actually the largest scorpion species out there. They're not the longest, but they're the largest. They sometimes can get up to 7 to 8 inches. So I'm really hoping that Tyrion gets to be that big because that would be amazing. He would be a lot bigger in my hand. Hopefully you guys, maybe you can see him a little bit better right here. So Tyrion, again, is the emperor scorpion. So being a really large species of scorpion, it's another animal that I don't have to worry about the venom. So if you guys can tell, you can see it right there. Oh yes, perfect. You can see that stinger and that venom sac there. So his stinger is not to go out of his way and sting people. No animal wants to go out of its way to get close to a human being, which is good for them and good for us. They generally like to stay away. So he uses his stingers to subdue whatever it is that he likes to eat. So these guys are from Africa. They live in West Africa and a lot of different countries in that area. They prefer savanna areas or even kind of rainforesty areas. So they really like it's humid, and they live on the ground. So a lot of times they'll actually dig burrows and live underground in groups. So like I said, he lives with his 2 other little friends, Jaime and Cersei. I was gonna kind of hang out here for a second. So he will live underground, and he really likes to eat insects that are also ground dwelling, just like he does. So they actually are a big fan of eating things like termites, but they also sometimes might eat small mammals. He will actually use those really big pinchers that you guys see to grab a hold of that animal and then use that tail to sting it and subdue it, so that way he can actually use those big claws to rip apart whatever it is he wants to eat. So you could probably imagine him kind of ripping up termites with those nice big claws that he has here. Tyrion here has 8 legs as well because he is an arachnid. And then how the tarantula had the pedipalps, those are technically his little pinchers. So those are the extra little appendages that are not technically legs. It's probably something else that you can't see, but he has hairs on his pinchers and on his tail that are sensory hairs that help him detect vibrations and things in the air to be able to tell what things are around, because these guys are nocturnal and they cannot see very well. They have pretty poor eyesight. So they have to have all of those hairs to be able to tell if there are predators around or if there are things that they actually want to eat around. So I know a lot of you are probably like, well, what the heck eats a scorpion? Because those are kind of scary looking. Lots of birds and bats, some lizards. There are mammals out there that like to eat these guys. Definitely a lot of things like to eat scorpions. And again, to probably a larger animal, that venom is not very potent. And then one thing that I did not mention with the tarantula is that these guys have exoskeletons. So we have to be very careful with them because they don't have a skeleton on the inside like us. They have the skeleton on the outside. So their exoskeleton doesn't actually grow. They grow and that exoskeleton gets too small. So they will actually molt that exoskeleton and have a brand new one. So in most cases, especially with a tarantula, once they molt, you can't really feed them for about a week because they're still so sensitive that the animals, even a small cricket, can still injure them because their bodies are so sensitive. One of the last things I will talk to you guys about is something really cool that they can actually do with their exoskeleton. It's one thing that a lot of researchers still aren't completely sure why they do it, but they have this really cool thing where they actually are fluorescent in ultraviolet light. So I'm gonna pause for a second and go turn the lights out and hopefully it'll show up nice on this video. Well, it's darker, but it's still daylight outside, and now we have the beautiful lights from the Christmas tree. Let's see if I can get him to kind of hang out for a second. I have a black light. What are you doing, bro? Okay, so I have a black light, and he actually glows in the dark. Let's see if he'll stop moving for a second. Let's see. He actually glows a green or turquoise color depending on what time of day it is. Ooh. So in the video you kind of get a glare purple, but he doesn't actually have any purple on him. So he turns this, again, right now it's kind of a turquoise color because it's kind of light, but the darker it is, he actually looks more of a neon green. If you go out and take these black lights outside at night and you shine it on them, they actually will shine a neon green color, which is really, really cool. Well, I think Tyrion is ready to say goodbye. He's waving at you. Bye. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed everything. Again, tarantulas and scorpions are really awesome. They're animals that we grow up kind of learning to be afraid of, especially something as large as a tarantula. I mean, usually a lot of times people see these little tiny spiders and they freak out, which that definitely was me as a kid. I've always loved animals, but the more I learned about them, actually I was like, oh, these are cool. So rather than screaming and running, it was, let me kind of get close enough to really get a good look at it. Oh, look how beautiful its web is. And I definitely gained an appreciation, which helped when I started working with animals like this. I thought they were really cool and I wanted to be able to handle them and show people that they're not mean, evil creatures, that they're really awesome and very nice. As a kid, you watch what other adults are doing, you watch what your parents are doing, and you learn to be afraid of things that you don't really have to be afraid of. Any spider that we have in our house or outside, they're helping take care of us and keep us safe because they're eating other insects that we don't need too many of. They're eating things like mosquitoes, which are the deadliest animal on the planet. They actually kill the most people in the world, which is crazy. So yeah, so if we have a lot of spiders around, they're helping keep us safe. And there are always plenty of animals out there that eat the extra spiders that we do not want around because it's never good to have too many of one thing. And for the most part, like I said before, animals don't really want to be around people, so there's a really good chance that we have a lot more spiders around, but we never see them because they just want to hide from us. And for the most part, they're also nocturnal, so they're coming out when we're asleep, which I know that probably doesn't make some of you feel very good. Hopefully you guys seeing me handle them kind of sets you at ease. I didn't get bit, I didn't die, nothing crazy happened, so everything is all good and well and fine. Well, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Also follow me on Instagram, Zookeeper Johnny. Feel free to leave any comments, maybe what was good about this video, what sucked about this video, and other video ideas that you might have for me. Well, thank you so much. Bye everyone. Thank you.